We're live. Hi. So, to start, if you're here for something that's professional, in the conventional understanding, then this isn't for you. The most important thing to remember is that we're all self-accountable and self-responsible. So what we are doing today is providing, this is the first unit. We've done some other introductions about what this is, but it's us starting to create, learning to express, learning to vocalize our experiences, what's going on, connect all of us alters, allow you to jump on our energetic train of self-healing. And this process is a grounding process for us, using the external body and the sun masculine energies of Pisces, which is the ruler of the feet, as we go through each moon astrological sign, which will take us through the body, and give us that internal lift in the inner body, the moon, the feminine receptive energies through each sign. It will actually at the end go into an Aries sun as well. So we've done some prep, but it's mainly going to be, we've got kind of like, you can't see him. Yeah, you can't see. So you've got Baby Bones here. Say hi, Baby Bones. Hi. And then behind Baby Bones, you got Mr. Big Bones, but we won't be using him. But I think we might be using Bones's feet, Baby Bones's feet, as a bit of display. And then we've got boards down here, and then we've got like props and tuning forks and things. So we do have stuff prepared down here. We're going to start with some sound after. So it does say on the thumbnail. So we'll start first of all with just going through the cards that we've got, the basic ones, and at the end we'll close off with the other cards that we've got. Not pulling, it's just the cards of the energies that we're focusing on, the themes that we're focusing on. So this is about we're more in touch with our energetic body at the moment, and we feel our physical body through our energetic body, and we feel the spiraling toroidal flow movement. And so we are aligning and connecting and healing our internal body for a lot. So we're just going to start by just doing a bit of sound, vocal toning. Then we'll do calling in the number energies, and then we'll start with this. So we did a little bit of an introduction. So, we don't know. We don't know where we're going or what we're doing. So first of all, let's just talk about our fears. We did the first introduction, like the first two of these that have been done, but for the Series 1 course that's been started in June. And we are making more connections, more clarity, and realizing that our fears are, for some of the ones that are functioning now, is whenever we do stuff like this, it's about being professional. It's about putting stuff out there that's been planned for properly, this, that, the other. But there's no one out there that can help us. Only we can help ourselves. So we're producing the material that other ones of us alters need to help ourselves and to connect ourselves while other people witness our process and while we witness our process. And allowing us all to be seen in whatever state it is that we need to be seen in that moment, because that is pure authenticity for our understanding and our deliverance of pure authenticity and acceptance, rather than attempting to always do it how everyone says one's meant to do it, like YouTube being a platform to create for consumers and for this. We are doing everything different, but it's taken us a long time to realize all this. And even though we may have realized it in some aspects, it's the first time we've been able to realize it and vocalize it out loud. And so today it was very clear to us that we are in real co-conscious aware states of our subconscious and bringing it to the surface, and all those insecurities and deep childhood patterns and insecurities have been seen and heard, of which our little ones desperately so want, but the older ones of us desperately don't, because we hate how it makes us feel, hence the experience and the practice. Also, there's so many things entangled, entwined, multitasking in all of this. But yeah, the fact that it doesn't flow, the fact that it feels like it doesn't flow, and that it's in some kind of structured format from a professional point of view, like people we maybe watch, seems to impact us deeply, when really this is mostly it's the adults and the therapists and the teachers and all in us that we don't have access, that are bringing all bits of material together, so that then when we do it in the flow, in the moment, it's just about, I suppose, gaining that understanding of in the moment, of in the flow, and trusting that, which we are starting to more and more. But when we've spent, well, we're 42 now, and when we've spent the whole of our life being taught to do things in a structured, left brain, logical, academic way, which we've never been which we have been good at. We've produced good stuff, but through masses and masses amount of energy and effort, too much so that other things get put aside. So this is about maximum output, most ease, not using up much energy, understanding that where awareness goes, where attention goes, energy goes. So just the process of us doing this in this moment with the astrological alignment of the planets, specifically the sun and the moon, which is what we're really bringing our awareness, conscious awareness in this moment, conscious awareness to. And as we talk through the body parts and different things and use the tuning forks, and it's like we can tune ourselves up like a guitar to bring the parts of the body back into its optimum resonance frequency. And by using the power of the subconscious mind, so that it's more important, the information that's going through the electromagnetic fields and the frequencies, through the body language, through the tone of voice, through the facial expressions, least of all the words. The words are what we are most inaccurate about, and which we are learning to develop. But the power of the subconscious mind is having stuff on in the background and not fully listening to it with the conscious mind. So going to do some cooking or cleaning or whatever while you've got something on in the background means it's going into your subconscious. And the power of the subconscious mind, it stores everything. It's along with the superconscious, is the Akashic records. And the subconscious mind is the body, the past, the information, data, memory stored in the connective tissue, the fascia. So we're going to do a bit of sounding to start with. The energies that we're going to bring in on this initial week. When we do our sounding, feel free to join in, make some sound with your mouth closed, in and out of your nose. Notice where the vibrations are. When I'm blowing in with my mouth closed, there's vibrations more at the lower back of the mouth. And now we've got stuff going on up here. When I blow out to make sound from my nose, everything pushes forwards, and the stuff that goes on in the bottom, and it shifts. That was different the second time round to the first time round. And we can sound in and out of the mouth. And we can do them both together. So we can do mouth, nose, mouth in, or nose, mouth, nose. And it's about swapping the patterning. So it's about, you know what's best for your body. You're just witnessing us do what we do. And the idea is that your body, you then eventually will get intuitively, instinctively to do what it needs to do, which could be the opposite or similar or whatever. And there might be subtle movement or shaking or stuff that kind of goes on. So this is about intuition. It's about reading the language of our body, listening to our body, learning the language of our body first before we can read it. So we're going to put our homemade peg system thing up here so that the cards can go. So the consistent interval that we're having throughout of this, that's going to be the anchor point, the pivot that stays the same, is the sun energies. And it's going to be the Pisces sun energies. Pisces is a water sign and it's mutable. So Pisces is a water sign, mutable, fits to the vessel of the container, unless it's extremely cold and then it's solid, or less extremely hot and then turns into a gas, and ruled by the modern rulership of Neptune, dreams. So that pipe, and we welcome in the Venus energies, please. Beautiful earthly energies, unconditional self-love. Venus is our heart. Aries is our Venus in house 8, and this is all about unconditional self-love, unconditional gratitude, showing up for ourselves and just doing what we're doing, because this starts the energetic ball rolling. The bridge between these two, because Neptune is the modern day ruler of Pisces, but the traditional ruler of Pisces is Jupiter, the wheel of fortune, number 10 in the tarot. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is an element fire sign. So we've got fire and water. It's about alchemizing the fire and water. Fire is the upward channels in the body, and water is the downward channels in the body, and getting them accurate. And there's the moon sign. So it's a Sagittarius moon. We just did some hip opening, not quite like that, but we just did some meditation and some hip opening before. And Pisces, the numbers correspond actually, 12. Pisces is the 12th house and Sagittarius is the 9th house. Sagittarius is higher learning and philosophy. And Pisces is spirituality and like dreams and intuition. Actually, might just do it that way round because it's this card that's going to be changing. So we're just going to take a bit of water. A bit of gargling to stimulate the vagus nerve. And then we're going to just stretch our hands up over our head, and then we're going to put them behind our arms, and we're just going to do a bit of sounding. And we're going to put our tongue to the top back of our mouth and maybe just see where it sits and what it does as we sound. We might suck our cheeks in sometimes and blow them out, and we might just blow out one at a time and stuff. So feel free to join in, feel free, listen to your body, take self-management of your body. Exhaling all their air outwards. Bit of a pause at the top. Okay. 24th, 6. And then 6 for the year too. And then 2 for the month. Equal 14. The number of the Temperance card, ruler of Sagittarius, equaling 5. Change. Number of change that brings freedom. Long, slow breath in. Sighing it out. Really connecting with the breath and connecting with the body. Setting the intention to absorb the information through the electromagnetic fields, to receive the information that you need in your experiences, and to listen with your whole body. Okay, so we're going to do those cards at the end. We've done them. We haven't left a link on this page actually, but there is one on the introduction, and when we come back and edit these, we'll do it. But it's the Astroseek moon phase calendar. If you want to print off this to find out the different signs and the body parts. So today, Thursday is also the day of the Jupiter, the wheel of fortune, the traditional ruler of Pisces and the ruler of Sagittarius. It's a waning crescent. It was the last quarter, started yesterday, so in the fourth quarter, the last quarter. And it's Sagittarius, fire sign, mutable, liver, hips, thighs, and sacrum. So we've done a bit of sound. So we're going to do a bit of knowledge before we go in and do a bit of sound later on. with the tuning forks. We've got 4 planets, the Sun, the Moon, Jupiter and Neptune, and 4 body parts, liver, bone, blood, and fat cells. So they're not necessarily body parts. And then we've got the chakras. So we'll do the seed sound for the chakras. We just tuned ourselves up before coming on to 417 hertz and 528 hertz. From the Solfeggio tuning fork set. So if you read it from this, the 417, which is the Nature Healing Society, 417 hertz releases negativity and all past trauma. One will experience relief because the negative experiences and influences from the past slowly leave their consciousness. It is linked to solar plexus chakra and the color yellow. And we've got the Sun, which is the planetary fork of the Sun, which is the solar plexus. So they're all connecting in. If you read it from the book that came with the fork, it's 417 hertz is undoing situations and facilitating change. And seeing as we're on the number 5 for the total of the day, the month and the year, that's perfect. There's alignment and interconnection there as well. These are all bridges on interconnecting portals. Or, you know, when nodes fire together, they wire together. So if it's all creating nodes in the fields. We haven't quite got all the words for it. And the other one was 528 hertz for clarity, peace, and DNA healing. It is a miracle tone or the love frequency, which have been claimed to heal the DNA and also cleanses an individual from many diseases and sickness. Healing impact is amplified through toning and meditation. So we've been doing our sounding meditation and toning and body work before. We've got our pure water. We've also got, we've been on it with our food and our bath water. So we've done everything to the best of our ability and intention to keep ourselves as a pure intentioned, clear channel for this, so that the best frequencies are going out to you, because this is primarily for our altars, which is us. So therefore the importance of its thingy. We've got a Punamu on here as well, and then we've got a Shungite one on as well, which is a circle 2, but we have that on backwards so that we've got a bit of a hump going on in the neck where we need the energy clearing. So it came to us to put that on at the back. If you read it here, 528 is MI 528, transformation and miracles, and the universal love frequency. Some say this is the exact frequency used by genetic biochemists to aid broken DNA, the genetic blueprint upon which life is based. So that's what we just did in our sound meditation and Shintosai practice before coming on. So it is going to be a bit interactive, so you may want to pause the video and go and get a pen and paper, or if you like some of us, we tend to watch stuff first and then come back to it and take notes if we need to. We do even have a bit of a blank whiteboard here, because we might need to draw a foot if we can't show the stuff there, but we're not quite sure what's going to happen. So we've just got a few things around us to see how it flows. So I'm going to take these down now. They've been there for the meditation, they've been up there, but I feel they may be distracting and get in the way. So we're working with the feet, not the hands, because of the Pisces, to keep that anchor point in. But you can do hand reflexology and head reflexology as well. We did just give our head a quick shave earlier as well, to have a bit of an Indian head massage after the bath, after that other live, actually, to help prune the neurons. So if we look at the foot on this side, both Pisces and Sagittarius are, there's probably a mixture. It's never just simple as one, but to keep it simple, Sagittarius and Pisces are both very connected to the second chakra, the sacral chakra, the orange. And it happens to be orange on here as well. So I don't know if that's intentional or not. The orange on here, so the red is the coccyx, but we're not focusing on the coccyx, we're focusing on the sacrum, the 5 fused vertebra in the middle, between your tip of your tailbone, the coccyx, and your bottom lumbar. So if you were to go to the hand, that would be the hand. If you go to orange up here, it's this bone here. So you've got your whole big heel bone, and then you've got all your toe bones and your feet bones. It's this bone here. So if you look at the bend in your foot, on that bit of a right angle on your foot and the bend, and then go down, that is that middle bone there. So if you got any real sacrum pain or lower back pain, you can just, put your hands there, bring your energy there. Your hands have chakras in it, your feet have chakras in. Bring your awareness, bring your attention, that brings the energy there in your feet. But by bringing the energy to that part of your feet, it will help your back. So on here, it does say that this I think again is too limited. I think it kind of, the body's made up in layers and goes out. So, but we're going to keep it simple, because that's what we're learning to do. So hand reflexology, for instance, is meant corresponding areas, the upper body, the head and the neck. The effect is the superficial tissues, and the complaints is emotional and acute. Foot reflexology, and we're focusing on the feet, is for the lower part of the body, the back, the hips and the legs. We were just watching a university lecture as well on the femoral nerves and upper leg muscles as well, because a lot of the alters or kinesthetic learners, and they watch and learn, and that puts the information into our field and then gives us the experiences that we need. The effect is the deep tissues and the organs. Our real stunted generational consciousness and our younger alternate personalities are our organs, and we're growing up our organs, and we're just healing it all, and our body is changing from the inside out, whereas before we've always attempted to change it and it's never worked, and it's been so much effort because we were so miswired and misaligned because of the DID and the denials and the misalignment and non-connection between our internal reality and our external reality, but also our head and our body and our head and our heart. Complaints, mental and stress, time, chronic, so chronic ailments. So this is the bit I'm not sure if we maybe need to draw a foot. So it's the hip joint. The picture's on the front on the thumbnail as well, but you've got the ankle bone. So if you go to the ankle bone, your outer ankle bone by your baby toe on both feet is the hip joint. So it's the grey circle. So this grey circle in the middle, your outer bone, this is your baby toe, that is your hip joint. So if you've got stuff going on with your hip joint, pain, looseness, tightness, you can again give some love to your feet and get your ankle bone. Little baby bones, can you come please and be a... So here it is, it's this ankle bone out here, the outer ankle bone. You can just go around in circles with your thumb, with your fingers, and just massage both of them or just hold both of them. And at the same time as doing that, you have more than likely will be bending your knee out at a bit of a right angle, which will be stretching all your muscles in your gluteus maximus, medius, minimus, piriformis at the same time, which will be having an actual stimulation of the actual hip bone itself. So you've also got, so that's the hip bone on here on the feet. Excuse us, Zendaya once in. Hello, how are you, gorgeous? You've got biscuits in your bowl, okay? We're just on live. So you've got your liver. We weren't sure how to, we have done all the preparation and looked at this. So, okay, you've also got your hip bone. So if you stick, so that's the ankle bone of your hip bone, of your hip joint, but you also have your hip joint. So here, it's the grey. So your hip joint's just down here on the grey. So if you go to your baby foot side of your toe again, it's around about here. So not only in just doing the ankle bone there, you can massage that bit too. And again, it's that bone. These are your metatarsals. So it's here, this area. And it's that same place on both feet. So your liver, so this is the bit now. So if you were to, I think your liver's the whole green area. So the whole green area, not the pale green bit that's in the middle, that's the gallbladder. And then you've got a bit of purple and blue, which is your adrenal glands and your kidneys, which would make sense. The purple is the adrenal glands and they sit on top of the kidneys. But you've got a whole big patch of green behind it. So there's your purple adrenals, kidneys, blue, light green gallbladder, and then the dark green all around it is your liver. And that goes on the top of the foot in the same place as well. And that's on your right foot because your liver's on your right hand side. So if you go to your right foot, so you're on your knobbly bit of your big toe. So we get baby bones back here again. Thanks, baby bones. So that is your right, isn't it? So that's your big toe. So it's on your baby side. It's back here. So if you go down to that knobbly bit in your big toe and you go across and then you go down on this side, it's here. So if you just kind of massage all that area and then go and massage all on the top, that will help your liver. And we can't, if you want to have some homework, you can have some homework and just look up a summarized function of what the liver does. And maybe what emotions, etc. We think it's forgiveness and anger, but what emotions are related to the liver? And we're pretty sure the Chinese sound, if you want to just literally use your vocal cords to ease your liver and calm and soothe your liver, it's this sound. I think we had this jumper on when we shaved our head earlier. Not very good because we've got the itchy hairs going on. So that's that one done. So in a way, it's about learning and going through all the senses. We won't do any more tuning forks yet. So we've got a picture of a bit of, we'll do that in a minute. So the sacrum, the liver, the hips and the thighs. So it's these ligaments here. So we're a visual learner. When we look at what part of the body it is with the energies on that day, the energies, they just do their thing then. They do what they're needing to do, but because we've brought our conscious awareness into it as well. And this is the hip bone socket here. So they're the ligaments. There was another one here, wasn't there? Oh, that's the sacral, but you could see that we just showed you. You could see the hip, and then that's a zoom in close of the hip area and all the ligaments. And then the meridian for the liver is LV. So if you've got your big toe and you're going up your inner leg, your inner knee, it starts at like the pivot of your foot. And then this is the line here going up, it curves up and then goes up the side of your leg. And it's this one that comes up along the outside and then goes up the center line of your IT band. So you can pause this and you can look at that. It's the middle line So you could pause this and then you could draw a picture of a leg and draw that line going down for reference. And again, it's the inner side. So you can just use your hand to just, you know, rub it, see what your body's telling you want to do. And you can just do that on the side. You'll actually be getting all of them when you do that. And then you can go down the leg and go into the front. But this has been central to your body. It's caressing and nurturing your body, but in specific areas that are correlated and connected to the current energetics going on. We looked at this earlier again. It's really challenging to remember in the moment. There was the points as well, but we weren't too sure about the points, so we weren't going to say them. It's the foot. So the other one, so we've got a zoomed in picture here. And it's, so if you go to your big toe, it's the inside of your big toe. So it's between your big toe and your first toe. So you've got 4 lines at the top. It's the GV, this one here. So it'd either be the third or the second, depending where you came down. And it goes down to that inner line of your big toe. So that's another place that you could just finger press, rub, manipulate, go down or up. So that's the liver meridian, which is the Chinese system. We've got awareness to the sacrum, to the hip bones. Bit of the thigh muscles with the inner leg rubbing, and the IT band on the outer of the thigh. So we've done the inner and outer thigh. And then the liver, we said about doing some homework to say the specific function of the liver, but it's part of the digestive system, according to this printout pamphlet, Quick Study Academic. So that's the digestive system and the mouth, and then it goes on to the back. And for us, we were talking about the duodenum and how these teeth that are missing are related to the duodenum, and that's got quite a, it's the full first part of the small intestines. It actually links, it's this bit here. So if you see this little curved bit in here, that's the duodenum, and that's the pancreas. And this is the liver here and your different parts of the liver, which we're pretty sure it's got something to do with cleansing toxins. Lemon juice is one of the only foods that's got the same molecular structure as part of your body, and it's the liver. Love thy liver with lemon. So we have our lemon, honey and ginger, but raw, unpasteurized honey, and we don't put it into boiling water so it doesn't ruin it. And it's really good for the digestive system. So that's bringing awareness and attention there. We'll just read Sagittarius from this book. Sagittarius is a fire sign, and they're action-orientated, outgoing, energetic, and spontaneous. It's also a mutable quality, and who adapt to change and tolerate situations. They represent the last month of each season when things are changing in preparation for the coming season. Sagittarius Moon's energy is masculine, dry, barren, and fiery, encouraging flights of imagination and confidence in the flow of life. Sagittarius is the most philosophical sign. Candor and honesty are enhanced when the moon is here, an excellent time to get things off your chest and to deal with institutions of higher learning, publishing companies, and the law. It's also a good time for sport and adventure. Sagittarius are the crusaders of the world. This is a good time to tackle things that need improvement. Perfect energies for what we're doing now, the higher learning. But don't attempt to be the diplomat while influenced by this energy. Opinions can run strong, and the tendency to proselytize is increased. Jupiter ruler, impulse expansion rules the thighs and the hips, but also that's what this book says. But with AstroSeek, it says the thighs, the hips, the liver, and the sacrum. So we're just going to do the sounds with you now. So we said it was the sacral chakra, the second chakra, swastisthana. Swastisthana. We're not very good with the pronunciations. Or we are attempting to get better with the pronunciations, would be better language for the programming. Second chakra, water, vam. So if we want to do the seed sound for that, it would be vam. And we could then at the same time bring up and outer angles, hold the outer angle with our foot, and then get the other hand and just gently put the hand over the other area of the meridians we've just been talking about. And we can continue to go on to the vam. We're just going to swap up the feet and the ankles again, put our palms on the other side of the things that we just talked about earlier and show the pictures. We're gently rocking our seated pelvis as well. All fear, trauma, anxiety stored in the pelvis, the psoas muscles, the hips, the emotional points. So we're opening them, releasing the emotions physically through our voice vocally, for our mental body, for our heart body, for our physical. We're bringing all the bodies into one, aligning and connecting. And then we do it backwards as well. Vam, V-A-M, and backwards, Mav, M-A-V, Mav. And we can even do it on the inhalation, so it goes Mav, 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 or it can go Mav, Bam, Mav, Bam, Mav, Bam, Bam, Mav. This is changing the patternings in the body, changing the patternings in the breath. It might be challenging to start with, and then we're going to go back over to the other side and just do the backwards. Mav, Mav, It really brings those vibrations into the body and being able to feel it. So the second chakra, swastisthana, the sex chakra, creativity, intimacy, relationships, and creativity are the key words for this chakra. We're just putting our hand down to our sacrum now. We'll change the patterning probably through it as well. Pleasure, flowing, and wave-like movements. Trade and exchange are also typical. Jealousy, uninhibited desire, fear of one's sexuality, anxiety about intimacy, lack of creative energy are manifestations of imbalance. On the other hand, the ability to share, harmony in relationships, easy physical contact, fluid movements, and attractiveness show that the chakra is open. The second chakra is located between the pubic bone and the navel. The upper part of the sacrum up to the second lumbar vertebra is the associated part of the spinal column. So we've got lots of 2 vibrations going on there. It's the second chakra, the second lumbar. And we're in the 2 vibrations in the year, 222, and we're in February. So again, number synchronicity. We've got the colours, the words. So the moon, 210 hertz, 210.42 hertz is the second chakra, and the sun is the solar plexus, 126.22 hertz. And we're going to do these 2, and we're going to do the other ones. So we've got Neptune, 211.44 hertz, and Jupiter, 183.58. So we're just going to sound them away from the microphone. If you want some more homework, you can look up and find out what part of the feet, the sun, the moon, Neptune and Jupiter, where are they on the feet? Pretty sure on your hands, the moon's around the thumb area on the palm. But where are they on the feet? And you can draw some feet and draw the symbology onto them. So all of this will be coming through the electromagnetic fields, through us, helping to tune up your body. Working from the planets and the cosmos, bringing the energies down, the frequencies down, embodying the frequencies with awareness, with the heart. Where awareness and attention goes, energy goes. And then the most important time of silent time, and the most important time of like the sound healing and everything, is the quiet time, in between the intervals, in between the space between the sound. And in yoga practice, the most important thing is shavasana, the silent time, the still pose, corpse pose at the end, laying down, because that's when all that new information, that's the muscle memory that's just been absorbed. Muscle memory is actually the neurological pathways that have just been created, the new ones that the body can absorb that information. So now we've got the blood and the bones, the frequencies are down below, fat cells and the liver. So we've gone from the planets on the exterior, the macrocosm, down to the microcosm of the body. Perfect to be doing this before sleep for us, for the dream time, sleep healing. And we invite you to gently close your eyes perhaps now, and to listen with your body, not listen with your mind. Feel the vibrations and the sensations. And we're just going to read some stuff out to you from some college work we did on alternative and complementary medicine disciplines. And it's going to be yoga, reflexology and Reiki. Reiki being the Japanese for Rei, universal, Ki, energy, universal energy, source energy, which is what we're utilizing and channeling to replenish ourselves. Yoga and reflexology, which is the feet that we were just talking about. Complementary and alternative medicines, CAM, are treatments that fall outside of mainstream healthcare. Complementary medicine You can use complementary medicine therapies alongside conventional medical treatment. It can help you feel better and enable you to cope better with your diagnosed issue. It can help with any side effects caused by your prescribed conventional medications, thus complementing conventional medicine. Alternative medicines, therapies, are generally used instead of conventional medicine. Most alternative therapies have not been through rigorous testing by law, and there is no scientific evidence to say that they work. And this is an intuitive flow practice rather than doing stuff that scientifically is about connecting to the higher intelligence of our body and our heart. If you are considering using any CAM and have any medical diagnoses or are on any medications, it is very important to talk to your doctor or specialist nurse first. It is also very important to let your CAM therapist know about your conventional treatment. Some treatments may interact. A good complementary therapist won't claim that they can cure you and won't give you a diagnosis, as they are not a doctor. CAMS mostly works by kickstarting, rebalancing the body's own natural healing abilities, giving it support along the way. Most CAM professionals work holistically in some form or another, thus on the body, mind, and spirit. If you are not ready to let go of a certain issue, imbalance, then the healing process may take longer. And we've got written down here: yoga, Alexandra technique, Bowen technique, iridology, osteopathy, kinesiology, physiotherapy, shiatsu, aromatherapy, acupuncture, herbal medicine, massage therapy are just a few. There are many different types of CAM disciplines. I believe because each one of us is an individual, what works for one may not work for another. One will come across many therapies that seem to overlap or be very similar, but slightly different, and this is why. These are from our belief systems and opinions. Yoga. Yoga gives the energy to lead a life fully and with enjoyment. Time spent alone in practice puts mundane issues in perspective and builds a fund of inner strength. Family, friends, and work all benefit. What is yoga? When someone speaks of yoga, many automatically think of bendy, flexible shapes. Yoga is not just about flexibility, but also strength and balance. If one is strong, balanced, and flexible in body, then they are so in mind. Yoga is more than just exercise. Meditation and breath work are just a few more petals of yoga. It is said to be the best, most holistic and beneficial discipline that one can do for themselves with minimal, if no cost, to provide optimum health in body, contentment in mind, and spiritual satisfaction, the best self-healing. I know here in the UK, you've actually got some trainee doctors actually doing Iyengar yoga, which is it's all about posture and alignment. That's what we trained in. And they're starting to actually prescribe it. And a quote from BKS Iyengar: yoga is an immortal art, science, and philosophy. It is the best subjective psychoanatomy of mankind ever conceived for the experience of physical, mental, intellectual, and spiritual well-being. It has stood in the test of time from the beginning of civilization, and it will remain supreme as a precise psychophysical science for centuries to come. Yoga is derived from the Sanskrit word yuj, Y-U-J, which means yoking, union, integration of one's body, mind, and soul with the divine. Hatha yoga originated in India 5,000 years ago and was systemized by the sage Patanjali around 2,000 years ago, who named them the Yoga Sutras. So we've got the 5 there and the 2, 5 of today and the 2 of the frequency of the year that we're in. Yoga is a way of life. Without realizing, we have been doing it since we were a baby. Whether it's the cat stretch that strengthens the spine or wind relieving poses that boosts digestion, you will always see children doing some kind of yoga instinctively. We tend to lose this natural instinct as we grow up and become domesticated by society. But we can relearn yoga, and everyone from people at desk jobs to professional cyclists and runners to people looking for weight loss to housewives, businessmen and students can benefit as it becomes their way of life. So yeah, what we're doing is, look, because we've grown up doing everything academically and logically and following certain systems or do it this way, we're in now what's going on with us is a whole new thing of learning the intuition while we're in these younger state networks and alternate personalities. And quite a journey and experience it is. It's teaching us masses. Ashtanga yoga comprises the 8 limbs, 8 petals. 1, universal ethical principles, your yamas. 2, your niyamas, rules of personal conduct. 3, postures, asanas. 4, rhythmic breath control, pranayama. 5, freedom from the desires of the senses, which is pratyahara. 6, dharana, concentration of the mind. 7, meditation, dhyana. 8, self-realization, samadhi. Types, so some, just a few, there's many, and we didn't realize that we would be creating our own style. It's just something that seems to have been unfolding, and what happens in the future, who knows, but we call ours Shintosai, the Shintos yoga experience, and it's many techniques brought into one to be able to accommodate all us alternate personalities and whatever specific needs we need in that moment. But you have the yoga, hatha, ashtanga, iyengar, vinyasa flow, kundalini yoga, karma yoga, shadow yoga, janava yoga, anusara, bikram, sivananda, kripalu, prenatal, restorative, being just a few. And many more styles are being born all the time. How it works. Yoga works by realigning the physical body and thus the mental, emotional and spiritual bodies since the mental, emotional and spiritual body, since the physical body is the vehicle that houses the others. So when we wrote this, that's what we believed. But we believe now that the other ones come first. And if the majority of people can align their inner world and their inner bodies and the emotional, mental and spiritual through the physical. But for us, it didn't work. For us, it broke us. And we are now aligning our internal body through our subtle energetic body to tap into the subtle physical energetic body to then align the physical body. So it's taken us on a whole curve round. And this is us learning to just growing us all up and learning, doing the courses for us so that it can continue to be this constructive feedback loop of information out and in of the senses, in and out and out and in. Our body is made up of many different types of cells with physical, physiological, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual functions. In the practice of yoga, each cell is consciously made to absorb a supply of fresh blood and life force energy, aiming to bring the whole of the individual back to harmony. This can take many, many years and still may not be achieved in a lifetime. And we had the blood tuning fork that we did earlier. So we've got blood intellectual, blood in the sound vibration. You could just yoga of sound, yoga of hands, your yoga mudras, your yoga of hands, integration yoga mudra. There's lots of different. Yoga is just about bringing awareness and balance and alignment between all the different bodies. Benefits of yoga therapy. Yoga is one of the most holistic approaches to health. If the well-being of the body, mind, and soul is in correct alignment, harmony, then every system and function of the body is at optimum health and well-being. Thus, the benefits are too many to mention. You name it, and yoga can help. Initially, the benefits can seem very slow and subtle for some, but for everyone over a period of time, when it's become a way of life, feel the benefits. If you are thinking about yoga therapy, then one-to-one by an experienced teacher is the safest, most beneficial option, depending on the individual's needs and wants. There are many reports on how yoga has healed, and that's why we've done it for so long, and we've had many of them. That's why, and the hospitals are a trigger for us. That's one reason why we believe the psych ward incident happened, because we needed respite, but we needed not to go to a hospital, even though the stuff that was wrong with us was mostly physical, not mental and emotional, but it wasn't being expressed outwards in that way. So the outsider would have disagreed, and we wouldn't have been able to say otherwise. Reflexology. Reflexology is thought to date back to 2500 BC. So now you've got the 2 and the 5 together. First seen in Egypt. Reflexology symbols have been recorded on the feet of statues of Buddha in India and later in China. Reflexology that we think of today is still new, and Dr. William Fitzgerald was the first to write about vertical zones that extended the length of the body in 1917. He thought that the application of pressure to a zone that corresponded to a location of injury on the body could give pain relief. The body is divided into 10 zones, which link all the organs and energy flow of the body. So that's if you were to get your big toe to your baby toe, it draws a line down your feet like this. So you've got your sense of security, you're relating, you're working, you're feeling, and you're thinking. And those lines continue up the body. Dr. Riley Fitzgerald's colleague was the one to expand on this, adding in the 3 horizontal zones. He also suggested that there are pressure points on the outer ear as well as the feet and hands. So if you get to the bottom of your feet, not only do you have the lines going down like that we said, but you have the top third, the middle third, and then the bottom third. So then that would relate to the top, bottom and middle of the body, or top, middle, bottom. It'd help if we said the words in alignment with the hands. But very well done for us noticing that and amending it in the moment. A foot map showing exactly where the body's organs and systems are was developed by Eunice Ingham, and this is what we are familiar with today. What is reflexology? Reflexology is a non-intrusive therapy using the theory that different points on the feet, hands, face, head, and ears correspond with different areas of the body, aiming to bring back balance to the whole. It uses massage and reflex points using zone therapy or foot mapping to stimulate stagnated, deficient, or excessive energy in the body to flow freely again, bringing back harmony to the whole of the body. Isn't it fascinating that the whole of our body tidally fits into our feet, the left foot corresponding to the left side of the body and vice versa? Benefits. Reflexology is a very individual treatment which is tailored to the person as a whole, taking into consideration both physical and non-physical factors that might be affecting your well-being. It works for some and not others. The best way to find out if it works for you is to try it. And you can do that by doing it to yourself. Usually after a treatment, tension may be reduced and you might feel relaxed. You might also notice yourself sleeping better and find your mood and sense of well-being improving. You may also find that other aspects improve too. However, this happens on an individual basis. Increased energy, enhanced sleep, relief from pain, better circulation, feeling at equilibrium, stimulates and soothes the nervous system, balances the endocrine system, relief from mental and physical fatigue, initiates body's own healing, elimination of toxins, just being some of them. And this is what you're to do if you're going to go to someone. So you don't have to do this if you're on your own. But if we are doing a self-care practice, it's nice to, have a bath and what have you. So special preparation, taking a bath or shower an hour before treatment, or even just giving your feet a wash is good hygiene practice and understandably more preferable for your reflexologist. If you are not able to do this for some reason, then not to worry, as your feet are soaked before treatment. Drinking plenty of water before your treatment is a way to keep yourself hydrated and be able to flush out excess of toxins, so giving no or minimal side effects. And we were actually talking about the lymphatic system earlier on and the different water states and the importance of the plasma state and water-soluble fibre to gain more of the plasma state in the body. What to expect from a treatment. So if you were to go to a therapist, a complete session uses many different techniques and includes all of the points on both feet and perhaps the hands, face, head and ears. It is not normal to have them all done in the same session. The session generally starts at the fingers or toes and works down to the heel of the hand or foot, and then works the areas on the sides and top. By working all of the points, the reflexologist addresses internal organs and glands, as well as muscle groups, bones, nerve ganglions, solar plexus, brachial plexus, and nerves, sciatic, during a session. To release pain is not the model. The goal is rather to bring the whole body into balance, and then the pain will subside. The reflexologist stimulates the nervous system to do the work. It is not the therapist who fixes it. What does it feel like? What to expect after? For the most, it's a pleasant sensation for the client, though it can sometimes locate tender areas. In turn, this signifies the need for further reflex work. The effects are felt not only on the foot, but in the corresponding major bodily organ. Traveling sensations can also be felt. Crystals, little lumpy gritty bits, can be felt under the skin's surface. Many people experience a lightness or tingling in the body, as well as feelings of warmth, a sense of opening or energy moving from the practitioner's pressure to the specific body area or organ. There is often a physical perception of energy flowing through every organ, valve, gland, or muscle, as well as a sense of communication between each body system. Other sensations, reactions during the session range from physical to emotion and may include perspiration of hands or feet, sensation of being cold or chilled, feeling lightheaded, coughing, laughing, crying, sighing deeply, overwhelming desire to sleep, disappearance of all pain and discomfort, loose, relaxed muscles, freely, not stressed and connected. Thirst, rarely contraction of muscles, groups, pain, feeling like all organs are hanging. The practitioner should recommend that you drink water, rest if necessary, and pay attention to your body over the next few hours to days. If any questions or concerns arise, you should be able to call the practitioner. Side effects or risks. Side effects normally do not last for, again, this is just our information. Always do your own research. We're just doing what we need for us and showing you our process of being our own teacher and our own student and watching this. So self-management, self-accountability, self-responsibility always means to whatever you hear, to never take that as gospel and to always go and do your own research and back things up, because different things resonate for different people, different things. Some things might be right and work for one and not another. So it's always about learning to guide yourself. Getting in touch with our own intuition, using the Sagittarius energies, the philosophical, the spiritual, and the Pisces intuition, spirituality, the inner body. Side effects do not normally last for more than 24 hours, but in some cases, individuals may continue to experience mild discomfort for a few days. Afterward, if symptoms continue to worsen, or if you notice any new symptoms after a day or two, report them to your doctor and reflexologist immediately. Various reactions may occur following a reflexology session. These, too, are subtle and are often not recognized by many people as a result of the reflexology treatment. Many of the reactions are positive signs that the session is part of a healing process. Other symptoms are indicative of the body's attempt to return to a state of balance and harmony. Symptoms usually last for 24 to 48 hours. Reactions may include, so when we do natural healing, and even like if you've ever done a detox, things can get better, things get worse before they get better, because if there's been congestion, constipation anywhere in the body, stuckage, when we move energy, the knots in the body or the feet or the crystals, they're build up of toxins. So when we manipulate it and loosen them up, it's releasing stuff into the body, which is also one reason why it's a catalyst towards feeling relaxed and drowsy. So when we are kicking in the body's natural innate healing ability, then there can be what one calls the healing crisis, and things get worse before they get better. But it's the toxins moving around the body and being shifted. Increased energy. So the reactions may include increased energy, enhanced sleep, relief from pain, more mobile joints, tiredness, skin rashes, pimples or spots, kidney stones passed with ease, frequent bowel movements, diarrhea, flu-like symptoms, emotional or psychological release like crying or something, fatigue, sensitive feet, symptoms being treated may get worse before getting better. This is your body responding and is a good sign. Uncommon side effects, nausea, excessive sweating or thirst, and skin rashes are other possible side effects. Drinking plenty of water helps reduce, if not eliminate, these symptoms. And then it's got a C appendix, what shouldn't be treated with reflexology. So it's always about doing your own research. Again, if you do have any specific syndromes or disorders or diseases. So now Reiki. What is Reiki? Reiki is a Japanese technique for stress reduction and relaxation that also promotes healing. It's considered a spiritual practice developed in 1922 by Japanese Buddhist Mikao Usui, which has since been adapted by various teachers of varying traditions. There are two main branches of Reiki, commonly referred to as traditional Japanese Reiki and Western Reiki. Though differences can be wide and varied between both branches and traditions, the primary difference is that the westernized forms use systemized hand placements rather than relying on an intuitive sense of hand positions. The word Reiki is made of two Japanese words, Rei, which means universal, higher power or God's wisdom, or for like us, source energy, and Ki, which is life force energy. Or maybe that's the source energy. Who knows? Or source energy, all of it. We'll find out down the line, won't we? So Reiki means universal life force energy. We always like to prefer to say multiversal as well. Reiki energy is a subtle energy. It is different to electricity or chemical energy and other kinds of physical energy. Reiki, we're going to have to interrupt a second. So we started this at 11:15 p.m. and we'll say the time when because we said we started at 11:15 p.m, we'll be able to figure out the time we've finished, so that if we are using any of this content or material down the line, we can put in the planetary hours and put those influence time, those energetic influences in as well. Reiki energy is a subtle energy. It is different to electricity or chemical energy and other kinds of physical energy. Reiki energy comes from the higher power, which exists on a higher dimension than the physical world we are familiar with. When viewed clairvoyantly, Reiki energy appears to come down from above and to enter the top of the therapist's head, after which it flows through the body and out the hands. It appears to flow this way because of our perspective. However, the true source of Reiki energy is within us. This does not mean that we use our personal energy when we do Reiki, but that the energy is coming from a transcendental part of ourselves that is connected to an infinite supply of healing energy. Reiki is an amazingly simple technique to learn. We've been attuned to our Reiki masters too, so there's Reiki in everything that we do. And since we got attuned in 2013, 2014 to our Reiki masters, we've always, our number one intention has been for the highest good of all concerned, with all our intentions and Mother Gaia. And then we learned to bring ourselves into that first, because we're the most important on that one. Reiki is an amazingly simple technique to learn. It is transferred to the student during a Reiki class. This ability is passed on during an attunement given by a Reiki master and allows the student to tap into an unlimited supply of life force energy to improve one's health and enhance the quality of life. Its use is not dependent on one's intellectual capacity or spiritual development, and therefore is available to everyone. It has been successfully taught to thousands of people of all ages and backgrounds. Intention is very important in healing, and especially in Reiki. Having strong focus on the client, the treatment, the hands, the chakras, and the symbols. There are 7 major chakras on the body that all relate to different energy centers. And there's another appendix for that one at the end. Meridians. Reiki flows through our palms at different rates of speed. So hence why putting our palms on our feet when we're doing the feet grounding with the reflexology, or just bringing attention and awareness and energy there. Depending on various factors such as the extent of the recipient's illness, degree of blockage, his or her readiness to accept change, and so on. It is administered by laying on or off of hands, that can be the hands touching the body or just off the body, and is based on the idea that an unseen life force energy flows through us and is what causes us to be alive. If one's life force energy is low, then we are more likely to get sick or feel stress. And if it is high, we are more capable of being happy and healthy. The therapist is the channel for the energy to flow through. The therapist is the channel for the energy to flow through. Benefits. Reiki treats the whole person, including body, emotions, mind, energetics, and spirit, creating many beneficial effects that include relaxation and feelings of peace, security, and well-being. Many have reported miraculous results. Reiki is a simple, natural, and safe method of spiritual healing and self-improvement that everyone can use. It has been effective in helping virtually every known illness and malady, and always creates a beneficial effect. It also works in conjunction with all other medical or therapeutic techniques to relieve side effects and promote recovery. What to expect from a treatment. In a standard treatment of Reiki, energy flows from the practitioner's hand into the client. The client is usually laying on a massage table, but treatments can also be given while the client is seated or even standing. The client remains fully clothed. The practitioner places her or his hands on or near the client's body in a series of hand positions. These include positions around the head and shoulders, the stomach and feet. Other more specific positions may be used based on the client's needs. Some therapists will not touch the client and will just work on what is called the aura, or use a combination of the two, working on a more intuitive level, and may not follow a set routine. Each position is held for 3 to 10 minutes, depending on how much Reiki the client needs at each position. The whole treatment usually lasts between 45 and 90 minutes, and there can be long distance Reiki as well. One doesn't actually have to go and have it done physically. It can be done, long distance. What does it feel like and what to expect? What one experiences during a Reiki treatment varies from person to person. However, feelings of deep relaxation are usually felt by all. Many feel a wonderful glowing radiance that flows through and around them, as the Reiki energy encourages one to let go of all tension, anxiety, fear, or other negative feelings. A state of peace and well-being is experienced. Some drift off to sleep or report floating outside their bodies or have visions and other mystical experiences. At the end of the treatment, one feels refreshed with a more positive, balanced outlook. One can feel tired or drowsy too. This is just the body needing to rest while the healing continues to take place. While Reiki is spiritual in nature, it is not a religion. It has no dogma, and there is nothing you must believe in order to learn and use Reiki. In fact, Reiki is not dependent on belief at all and will work whether you believe in it or not. Because Reiki comes from the universe and is considered spiritual, many people find that using Reiki puts them more in touch with the experience of their religion rather than having only an intellectual concept of it. While Reiki is not a religion, it is still important to live and act in a way that promotes harmony with others. Mikao Usui, the founder of the Reiki system of natural healing, recommended that one practices certain simple ethical ideals to promote peace and harmony, which are nearly universal across all cultures. So that would have been the 8 limbs of yoga that we read out in the yoga section. Side effects or risks. Since Reiki is guided by the higher power, the Reiki energy will know the condition of the client or student and adjust appropriately. Reiki can only do good. Most of the time, a person will feel relaxed and uplifted by Reiki treatment. However, sometimes a person will have what is called a healing crisis. This is what we were talking about earlier. As a person's vibration goes up, toxins that have been stored in the body will be released into the bloodstream to be filtered by the liver and kidneys and removed from the system. When this happens, sometimes a person can get a headache or stomach ache or feel weak. If this happens, it is a good idea to drink more water, eat lighter meals, and get more rest. The body is cleansing as part of the healing process, so this is a good sign. So that's all we're going to read on that. And hopefully that information's gone in. We've just got the tuning forks here that we didn't read earlier. So we did Jupiter, Sagittarius in the 9th house, helps in creative power and continuous construction, welcoming higher energies to come in, encourages travel and discovery, promotes optimism, and encourages morals and ethics. So that's very fitting for what we were talking about then as well. So we've just been guided in this moment to put our hand, I'm going to do right because it's easier. Actually, no, we're going to do left on our back like that. So if you go on put your hand on your belly button, move your hand right, maybe and up a little bit so that your palm is actually, so your palm of your center of the palm of your hand on the belly button, move it up, move it to your right, and then put your other hand parallel on the back, and that's where your liver is. So just by having your hands there, you're giving energy to your liver. So we're going to keep our left hand there. Neptune, Pisces in the 12th house, deepens our understanding of mysticism, assists in getting in touch with past lives, promotes dreams, imagination, and intuition, deepens meditation, encourages transcendence, enhances the dream experience. And it doesn't have the sun and it doesn't have the moon written on there. And the other one's just the organs. Okay, so we're not going to read from this book, but this is the subtle body. And so for us younger ones that's watching this, we can look through this. Okay, my lovelies, if you look through this, you'll find the information that goes with these coloured bits here, which are related to these energies. You can either pause the video and draw these pictures yourself, or you might want to Google it to see if there's any Google, Google the pictures. But we were thinking about printing them off, putting them up as a PDF, but we don't want to do that because we think it might be a copyright issue thing, and we still don't understand all that. We did leave links to the very first visual meditations and reading out loud we did from Pleiadian Keys, the Earth book. But we noticed on one of them, we need to look directly on the microphone on this, because otherwise when we look down, we can't be heard. Thank you for speaking that out loud. On one of the pictures, I think the little one's just recorded something on the computer, and I think there's a copyright thing on it. So I don't think that's good either. But in us vocalizing this now out loud under these energies, then the answers and whatever information will come in to give us clarity on that in whatever format. So this book is the colouring in book to go with that other one. And we've just highlighted a few pages. So this is the liver meridian page, and you can then do like the colouring in. And it's got different things down the other side for colouring in. And this is incorporating all the different sensory systems as well. And this one, if you just Google Second Chakra, colour, I don't know what you'd Google, something to colour in. This says colour orange, seed, syllable, VAM, which we did earlier, element water, attribute, purity. So you can get something and you can just print it off and colour it in. And you've got the crescent moon in there as well. So that can be for us to colour in later on. For our little ones, though, when you do colour it in, let's not colour it in the book. Let's print it off and then colour it in. I think we did print off the heart chakra, didn't we? But we've never got around to colouring it in. And then you could look up a template, colouring in template for reflexology. And then you could just do your own little reflexology section where it's related to the liver. So there's on the base of your right foot, that's the liver there. Yeah, that we showed earlier. That's just a pitch, that's the same one as this that we showed. That one's coloured in. And then you've got two sides of the feet as well. So you've got like the hip joints and the thing. So what we would do is, rather than colouring in the whole thing, we would scan this and then we'll colour in the sections that relate to this energy. Or we tend to get out one of our big pads. We have different pads of papers for different one of us that use it. and we'll draw the feet ourselves. And rather than drawing it all on, we might just have one page for Pisces, one page for Sagittarius, and we draw feet. Oh, look, you see our Zendaya. You can draw feet on each and then draw on that section that's related to the Pisces, for instance. And then eventually at the end, you can bring them all together and then have each astrological symbol or planet symbol or whatever on each one. And that's it from the other side again. So that's a colouring in book that we're using with the book. I don't think we need this one. I think we've talked about it's just different techniques. So for this page, we've got the liver thumb walk. So a thumb walk would just be where you're walking your thumb up. So you're just pushing your thumb up. The triangular liver area between the diaphragm line and the waistline. So if you were to Google the Reflexology print, you'll be able to see where that was. And then you could just do thumb walk, massage yourself along there. And that helps you restore the energy balance back into your liver. This one's for your left shoulder, arm, elbow, hand, hip, leg, outer edge of the foot. Hold the toes of the left foot with your left hand, and with your right thumb, caterpillar walk along the outer edge of your foot. So like we were showing you on Mr. Bones. Oopsie daisy. You don't quite reach, do you, Mr. Bones? Baby Bones, sorry. Okay, we can't put you on the book. The outer edge would be just along that outer edge on the baby foot. I just put that up there, all along there that we're talking about. Not very balanced, are you? A bit top heavy. Hold the toes of the left foot with your left hand, and with your right thumb, caterpillar walk along the outer edge of the foot. 2, continue caterpillar walking until you have covered the whole area from the heel to the little toe. 3, and you may not be very good at auditory instructions, but this is where if auditory instructions aren't your best learning modality, then it's a really good way to develop that skill, because all of this is developing the skills in the areas that aren't our strengths, developing observation skills, developing intuition, self-reliance, etc. Continue caterpillar walking until you have covered the whole area from the heel to the little toe. Said that. 3, now cup the left hand heel with your right hand and walk your left thumb in the opposite direction from the little toe to the heel. And then the other one goes on to the sciatic nerve line and pelvic area, so we're not going to do that one. And so what was the last 2? So it's just similar techniques on all those other areas. So if we're going with intuition, rather than me just reading the same stuff out again or similar, explore your feet, explore the positions and the places that we've talked about today, and see how that makes you feel. What do you feel in your body? Do you feel that do you feel this energy going up those meridians? And also for homework, would be, when we're doing all this, what words, what colors, what numbers, what emotions, what symbols, runes, planets, star constellations, feelings, animals, crystals, sounds, plants, herbs, trees, what comes to mind when you're working these areas? If we're going to bring in the imagination, the creativity in with the physical sensations of the body, with the emotions, with the archetypal energies of Sagittarius and Pisces Sun and Sagittarius Moon, what's going on? Get a blank piece of paper, draw, scribble, put symbols down. What's coming out? We'd love to hear in the comments, in the feedback. And yeah, summarize body parts of what the liver does. the hip joint, how it works, what type of joint is it? Is it a hinge joint? Is it a ball and socket? Little things like that, and writing it down, because as we write it down, as we draw it, all of these, using all these senses, and as we put the colours in, you might want to do it in orange. As we use all these senses and put them together, this is the different ages. So our stunted generational consciousness, and which everyone has in parts, is different sensory systems not being all grown up together of all good par. We tend to focus on one area and develop one area. So that could be some homework. We're going to end in the foot cards. Before the cards will be, we've just done a little bit of foot reading so that we can actually see, well, what does the feet tell us? And we can look at someone's feet and we can actually learn about them and understand about them from the shape of their feet or from the colour of the nail varnish. Now, we were struggling to understand why we're getting this book out, and we're not actually using this book, but we did Google the corresponding part in the house to the second chakra, which is what that's about. So it's in connecting that internal reality of the body, our organs and deep tissue muscles, with our superficial muscles, the external reality of the body, through the feet. So with the Pisces is ruler of the feet, so hence why we're focusing on the feet. So we're focusing on the internal and the external through the feet and the meridians and stuff that we've seen, talked about. But we can also do it like in the house. So like, for instance, you know how important it is to keep, this is from Chakra Healing for the Home by Jennifer Stevens, Home Lifestyle. You know how important it is to keep your chakras balanced for optimal health, but have you thought about chakra healing for your home? Whether you've studied Buddhism, meditation, or Kundalini yoga, you've probably come across the concept of chakras before, but how do they relate to your home? So it's kind of like Feng Shui, but Feng Shui is more of a Japanese thing like Reiki, whereas chakras, the more like the yoga, the Indian. It does tell you what it means by chakra. So let's read that. Chakras are energetic centers within the energetic subtle body. And this is how we experience our world most. But it's all fragmented because of the DID, and that's what we're putting together. And you're witnessing us put it together. So when if you went back to our videos near the start, there'd be a lot of sounding, there'd be long and there'd be quite chaotic, but then some would be quite good as well, actually. So it'd be quite a mix match. So chakras are energetic centers within the energetic subtle body. The word chakra itself originally meant wheel, but they are thought to function more like vortexes, either open and spinning correctly, open and spinning backward, or closed entirely. Healthy chakras are an essential part of mind, body, and spirit living in alignment. A closed chakra is the result of an energetic blockage. We believe if the chakras were all closed that you'd be dead. So it's just there can be chakras that are tight and chakras that are loose, and it's about winding it up to tighten it, or winding it out to loosen it. And when you're doing that, it's kind of like changing the tension on the guide ropes, the ligaments of the bodies. That's what we experience physically. Typically an emotional or spiritual issue, and just one blocked chakra will affect the rest of your system, causing it to go into overdrive to compensate. This ultimately results in feeling lethargic, scattered, or burnt out. Leaving your chakras out of balance for too long can eventually lead to physical illness. So how do the chakras relate to interior design? Chakras are ultimately driven by our own energies. And since our home is an extension of ourself, they are also accurately represented within our space. And just like in our bodies, it's important for the chakras in our home to stay happy and healthy. There's no need to redecorate from scratch. The idea is simply to show each chakra zone the proper care and respect. It's always best for you to interpret the chakras in your own home in a way that works best for you. So go with your own intuition on this. But here are a few examples of home chakra healing to get you thinking. So I'm not going to read them all, but we'll read every one which it relates to, but we're only going to read in depth the second chakra. So Muladhara, the root chakra, the first chakra, is the kitchen, toilet, basement, and crawl spaces. Well, we've been doing a lot of crawling and backwards walking and backwards crawling and all kinds of things with what we've been learning for rewiring our body. And toilet is the toilet of insights. A lot of stuff happens on the toilet. So that's interesting. Stone, not do the crystals. For crystals on this one, you can look up crystals as well. We did say that, but orange ones, all the colours kind of connect. We're going to read the other chakras first. So Manipurna, solar plexus chakra, is the bathroom's laundry room, living room, or family room. And there would be yellow crystals. Anahata, heart chakra, dining areas and hallways. And that's interesting, the hallways, the heart chakra. And we're actually sitting at a table that we would like to dine at, but we're not very good at doing the whole sit-down food thing yet. We do it on our couch. We don't really have a study or home office, but we do have one in the corner of our lounge. Our lounge is kind of set out with all of it. Vishuddha, throat chakra, study or home office. Ajna, third eye chakra, spiritual center, library, home office. Well, our library, our bookshelf, is kind of opposite the home office corner. Sahasrara, crown chakra, bedroom and front door. That's so interesting. So the second chakra, let's read that one. Here it is. Swasthana, sacral chakra, creative centers. The sacral chakra represents our relationship with ourselves, but this extends well beyond us since we project this onto our perception of the world around us. The big lesson here is simple. You cannot love anyone else until you love yourself. It is also the chakra of sensuality and sexuality. Potential signs of an imbalance in the sacral chakra include boredom with life or your relationship and inhibition. In our homes, the sacral chakra is represented by any center of creativity. You might have a thriving business running out of the spare bedroom, a blog run from the computer in your home office, or maybe you just really love spending your weekend afternoons creating treats for a dinner party. Choose the zone that best represents your own version of creativity and take a careful look around. If clutter or improper storage is impeding your ability to create, then get to work at finding some solutions. If you don't have a creative center in your home, then now, it says how, but I think it's meant to say now, then now is a great time to create one. What classes have you been meaning to take? What interests have you been waiting to explore? How can you express this energy in your home? Your creative energy is an integral piece of your soul, so devote time to honoring it. Well, for us, that's everywhere. Our garden, front and back, we put creativity into anything we do. And we're almost there with our stage one focus, where we've kind of actually got there with stage one of getting all the surface areas neat and tidy and organized. And so like we'll create mess now in doing this, but it will get tidied and organized tomorrow. And we look at Zen stretching. He's a good reflection to us to know how good things are going on. And so everywhere's kind of got that crazy, not crazy, but a bit crazy, creative, artistic, homely feel to it, with artwork around. And then the next stage, because we've done the surface stage, the next stage is to actually organize in the cupboards, because we do have a lot of clutter and we have so much stuff saved in different places and duplicates. So we're getting there a lot more with our organization. And then once we've got there about organization on the surface and in the internal behind cupboards and stuff, then we can start organizing and categorizing on a computer and our garage, and then start throwing out and discarding stuff that we don't need. And in this whole process, as we do that in our immediate environment, which is teaching us, and our internal environment, which is what we've been dancing and navigating the last 5.5 years since our seizures, we're doing so much better. And our sister that did come yesterday said how amazing the house is looking and how amazing it's feeling. Everyone's always said it feels quite good. We've always been really good at creating a space and an energy centres. We're just natural at it. But to hear her say that was really good, because we put it's hard work. And we spent a lot of time training our younger alters. So it's was really, we were really pleased to hear that. So we're almost done. And it's not gone on too long, 1 hour, 45 minutes and 45 seconds. So now we're just going to read the little section on the feet. And we didn't know what to do, but seeing as the liver meridian was down the inner side of the big toe, that's next to that's next to the toe rather than the outer part of the big toe, we thought we'd read the nails, because we've also on our left big toenail, which is the thinking, we've got a massive, it doesn't hurt anymore, but we've got a massive bruise, purple bruise. So nails. The nails represent protection of beliefs and ideas, which is what we're navigating through very slowly, releasing the limiting beliefs and the ideas, because it's the belief systems, especially with the stunted generational consciousness in the body parts, we can only handle so much. We have to grow up a bit here, grow up a bit there, etc. So that's very related to us. Nail, big toe, meaning protects thoughts, beliefs, ideas, and sometimes self-esteem. We will just read the other toes because we're on it. Second toe protects thoughts about emotions and feelings. Third toe protects thoughts about what you are doing or what's being done. Protects ideas about actions, work, school, and chores. Fourth toe protects thoughts about family, relationships, private life, and people who are close to you. Protecting ideas about how you're getting on with others. So if you think of your wedding finger, that's the relating. Then it's your working, feeling, thinking, and that's your sense of security, your baby finger, and they correlate the same on the feet. Fifth toe, baby finger, protects thoughts about sense of security, insecurity, and how you're going to move forward and take the next steps. The above chart uses the general meanings of the toes. You can also use nuanced meanings where appropriate. Note that if the nail does not cover the whole width of the toe, the exposed fleshy area represents the degree of vulnerability on those issues. The upside of this is it also shows their degree of sensitivity too. In the following chart are the meanings of imbalances of the nails. Remember to apply the meaning of the toe too. Sometimes you can layer more than one meaning, e.g., if you see a colour, a fungal infection, and a thickening, you'd use all three readings plus the meaning of the toe to arrive at an interpretation. So for us, with our big toe on our left foot, it would be protects thoughts, beliefs, ideas, and sometimes self-esteem. And then over here, you've got a thick, yellow, fungal, split, bruised, ingrown, torn, nail falling off, nail that looks sunken in the middle, nail that looks squashed into the toe, involuted nail, arched and hollow underneath, horizontal ridges, vertical ridges. So if you had any of them, you could Google it and it should tell you what it is. If you put in foot reading, vertical ridges in my toenails, for instance. But for us, we're bruised. It's not fallen off or anything. Unhappy about having to protect own ideas, and hurt about having to guard their own decisions. So this is something to do with some of the altars, I think, because there's an understanding of it, but at the same time there's not an understanding of it, and I haven't got anything to kind of comment or say on it. So I think it's something that is relative to us, but it's something that we're waking up to and that we've got to take slow because it's too much for our current conscious minds to understand. When I was asked to do a foot readings of journalists at a product launch for Bourjois Cosmetics, I realised that because they were going to be having a pedicure before I saw them, I would be losing a lot of information from the nails. So I asked Hilary Ottaway of Colour Power to give me a crash course in understanding colours so that I could interpret what their choice of nail varnish colour would say about them. You choose the colour for your toenails to represent what you'd like to attract more of in your life. Hence, there are some colours you would wear in your clothing that you'd never pick for your toenails. That's because you already have enough of that attribute and don't wish to attract more of it into your life. For further information, please refer to my second book, The Foot Reading Coach. So, for instance, if you're wearing pink toenail varnish, it can mean that you're attempting to attract more love into your life. So that's just a little bit on the foot reading. We've just opened it up again on revisiting the toe meanings, but it's a different section. Big toe thinking. The big toe represents personal beliefs and ideas. It's all tied in with self-confidence. It can show whether the person is a logical thinker or a dreamer, depending what shape the toe is. We look at toe shapes later. And you've got, if you've got your toes and they're hammered and locked, that means that communication won't be very good, or maybe just a couple of them are locked. And let's say it's just those two toes that were locked, not your big toe, not your baby toe or your first toe, but the two middle ones. That's your relating and that's your working. So it means maybe that you're not good at communicating about your relationship needs and your work needs. But you might have a strong sense of security and be good at talking about your own. Yeah, so they all mean different things like that. Gaps between toes. So if you've got a big gap between your toes, notice between which toes they are, how wide they are. A gap between your big toe and your second toe, which is hugely important for yoga, actually. One of the things is eventually to get the gap really big, and then you can put your wrists in it. Each toe represents thoughts concerning a certain area of your life. A gap indicates a delayed reaction between these two toe meanings working together. Consider a gap between the big toe and the second toe. Big toe represents thoughts and second toe represents emotions. There is a delayed reaction between the logic and the emotion working together. I would say you have delayed reaction to things. Logic and your emotions are working separately. So if I put you on the spot today to make an immediate decision, you'll wake up tomorrow morning thinking, oh no, why did I say that? Why didn't I say this? That's us all the time, a lot. But then we don't have a big gap between our toes. They cross over. So maybe with yoga, it's about getting all the gaps even, about spreading your toes. So yeah, there's always stuff that we can learn. And we're just going to end now on the Black Moon astrology cards, the same that we started with, but the other ones just showed the cards and the house number. So here we've got the sun, and the sun is the spirit, the masculine energy, the life force energy. And for us, the sun, we're working with Pisces energies in the sun, which is a water element, and that's about sensing. So it's the spirit sensing, and Pisces is I believe. And we were just talking about a lot of belief systems. So it's the spirit. It's a believing in spirit, sensory systems of the spirit, which is the internal sensory system. It's the intuition, which in our opinion was not very proficient at it in communicating and using words and bringing it all together, but each of our altars and what we've been through is really proficient at it from experience. We're just finding the words and the ability to bring it all together and express it and communicate it, which is why this is just a whole learning process. Let's play and grow, learn and play and learn and grow together. And it's the 12th house, which is about escape, and ruled by Neptune, sacrifice. So sometimes we have to be self-disciplined to gain moderation. So we have to sacrifice certain things so that we can believe in new states of being, in new ways that integrate the higher unseen realms, the lower unseen realms with the conscious aware realms, so that we can gain new, wider, opening, non-limiting belief systems. And sometimes when we do that, because we're changing ourselves and that changes the environment, we may have to sacrifice losing friendships and certain people out of our lives because people don't like it when other people change. It's a subconscious thing, because if you can't change anyone else but yourself, but in changing yourself, that will either cut relationships off out of your life, or they'll want to change themselves to be in your life with you, because it means about understanding your needs, understanding your boundaries, because you're sensing your body, your water body, your emotions on a new level to connect, have a greater, stronger connection with spirit, the sun. And it's the Sagittarius, the moon, which is the soul. So therefore, soul and spirit are different. It's fire element rather than water element of desire, of sensing. It's a fire element of desires, passions, sensuality. And it's a Sagittarius, which is I see, the intuitive seeing mind, the spiritual, philosophical. Really great to connect the Sagittarius with the higher learning, and philosophical with the intuitive, spiritual, desiring Sagittarius with the sensing Pisces. And it's the 9th house of faith. So we're dealing with new belief systems in faith, ruled by Jupiter, which is abundance. Because when we align all of those unseen, bigger mystery forces and powers, we create much more abundance and riches and wealth of unconditional self-love and gratitude, of seeing the beauty in everything, leaving the limiting belief systems behind, where riches and wealth and abundance just relates to money. It actually relates to a whole energetic exchange. What that exchange is, whether it's creative gifts, or the exchange of value of money, or the exchange of value of time, or the exchange of value from growing food, or putting time into growing food. And now what we're going to do, just to close it off, is that's just Pisces and Jupiter. So when we came into these energies the other day from Patch Wisdom's Reel, the Pisces is still working on a core center of ace, beginner, kind of baby beginner mind, and princess swords, which is more like a teenager beginner mind. Immutable Pisces energies, which is the moon card, but we're in Saturn, which is the world. And that's February the 18th to the 28th, and we're the 24th today, so that's 4 more days. And the 8 of Cups energy with the King of Cups. Now that's just one axis, but normally you have 4 axes to create a cross. You normally get a cross to create stability. So these are the 4 axes. So you're working with Pisces and Sagittarius, which is the moon card, and Temperance. But the opposite of the moon of Pisces is Virgo, the Hermit, and the opposite of which is the earth elemental, Pisces being the water, Temperance, Sagittarius, which is fire, and the opposite of Gemini, air, which is the lovers. So that's a beautiful set of, you've got the lower learning, house 3, start of the Tesla code with Gemini, higher learning, end of the Tesla code with 9, house 9, and Sagittarius with the central point of balance, house 6, which is the house for Virgo, which is the earth sign, which is all about health and well-being and attention to detail. And that's all of the Tesla code. And then you've got house 12, which is second tier 3, because 12 equals 3, made up of the 1 and 2 vibrations. So we're very much dancing with numerology that's in the unseen, subatomic, energetic realms, spiritual realms. But when you get the Grand Cross, that's the Grand Cross of the Provoker, but it creates a foundation, a structure, earth element of stability. So we're not just dancing with fire and water, we're dancing with earth to ground it as well. Virgo, the eye analyzed to details. sixth house is health and routine, but it's a circular system routine rather than a linear system routine. So we were discussing that earlier in our live video today with the other course, how a linear system routine is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, where every weekday for every week of the year. A circular system routine for us, which we just discovered earlier, would be like in the height of summer, you do 8:30 to 5:30, so it's a longer working day. And in the height of winter, you do like 10 to 4. So you've only got a 6-hour day rather than rather than a 10-hour day. So there's 4 hours less. And you'd sleep more in winter than you would in summer because the energies are different. And it's about charging up our battery. The start of the day is at sunset, not sunrise, because one needs to charge up the battery at night time so it's ready to go the next day. On a daily cycle, on a monthly cycle, you'd have the new moon and the full moon. And then on a yearly cycle, it'd be winter. And Gemini is ruled by, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is the mind, the planet of expression. But Mercury also rules, so you've got Jupiter and Neptune, but Mercury also rules Gemini. So we've got a beautiful set of 4 mutable signs here with all the elemental consciousnesses. Air element is communication. So fire is desire, water is sensing, air is communication, and earth is stability. So the water goes earth is the energy that goes downwards in the channels. The fire is the energy that goes upwards in the channels, like fire, like rain. The air is communicating, but that's the spiral channels that the lungs create. And water, earth, that stability is the mountain, the tree, the solid, stable rock, stability. And Gemini is the I think, communication and I think with the mind. And it's the 3rd house of messages and lower learning. So those are the energies between the Pisces Sun and the Sagittarius Moon with their oppositions to create that stable cross of energetics and all the elemental consciousness, because we are everything in our astrological chart. And what we've learned is that if there's a house that's empty in the astrological chart, it just means that we're really proficient in that area in past lives or what have you. And the focus that we need for this current lifetime is the one which the houses are in. But when you get a planet transiting through a house, if it is empty, because that's an area that we're proficient at, then the energetics will be an easier, smoother ride. Whereas if there's a house that's got lots of planets in, then there's a lot of attention needed in that area, and it could be a much more of an emotional roller coaster ride. So that's it. We've come to the end of what we've prepared. A lot. It's not how we'd want it to be, but then we'd want it to be professional and well developed and like things that we've attended already. But things we've attended already are people that have been doing it for years, had lots of practice, and aren't navigating their way through physical and mental and emotional health issues. So the fact that we're doing all this while we're navigating our way through a lot of that is, we think, amazing. And this is about showing our process of navigating our way through that, laying the foundations, setting the foundations. We've already done it energetically. Now we're learning to do it, being seen and being heard with our hardest thing of words, so that then down the line, we're just going to follow our intuition and get stronger and more trusting and faithful in that intuition, so that everything's just going to be falling into place. Because in hindsight and reflection, that's what our whole life's been already. So it's about completely changing the way that we're familiar with and have known our whole life into this new maximum output, most ease, intuitive way, which is just very uncomfortable to start with because it's not familiar. But within time and experience and practice, it will become familiar. And on our little ones watching this back, we're going to be drawing and putting stuff together that we've been wanting to put together for ages that we don't seem to be able to do on our own. So this has a multitude of aspects, because we'll watch it out and we'll start doing it, and it'll be a guide thing that we can have on in the background. Who knows when it'll happen? It all just seems to happen as and when. But it wasn't happening for us starting this on Tuesday, but it's happened for us starting this today. So let's just see. I think it's on the calendar to let you know when the next one is, because the next one will be the Capricorn. So we'll be moving from the hips and the thighs, the liver and the sacrum and the liver, to the skin, bones and knees. Capricorn energies, the moon Capricorn, going from a fire sign to an earth sign. And on here it also says the backbone, which is this whole backbone, which is good, the joints and the hair. So those will be the energies we navigate next time. We're sore. We're just holding on to our hammock, doing a side stretch. So next time, where are we? February the 24th, Saturday. So it's Thursday, so we have tomorrow off, Friday, and then on Saturday, I'm not sure if it's always going to be late or if it's always going to be this time. We're not sure what's going to happen. I can imagine it's going to be all over the place. But yeah, we'll be dancing with the continuation always of until the very end of the Pisces Sun, but we'll be going into a Capricorn Moon, and that will be Unit 2. So who knows, we might even watch this back on Saturday daytime, and the little ones might choose to start doing some drawing and stuff on Saturday. But I'm also feeling that might not be the case, because we need to be getting into the garden and doing other things as well. So it might be that this is revisited at another time. Maybe when we're not actually in the energies, it might be when we're in the opposite energies, because that seems to be what's happening with the other material that we create it, and then it's for us down the line, and it really makes sense. So yes, if you are someone that's joined this that's not us, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I sincerely hope you've benefited from it. And if it's us, then yay guys, we're getting there, we're putting it all together, it's coming together. We're doing amazing. Keep up the great work. It's all a bit crazy and a bit nutsy, but we are, we're a very rare, different being in the way we experience and perceive the world. So welcome to witnessing our process, to all of us and all of you and whoever and whatever. Have a great sleep day wherever you are, whatever time, whenever your now moment is that you come to this, and we're going to go to sleep and do all our sleep dream time programming from what we've done, so that it can continue the whole constructive feedback loop of information in and out of the senses, and the power of the subconscious and energetics, and this new way of learning that we are teaching ourselves to come together. All right, cool. Take care, everyone. See you again.